You don't have to wait 5 years down the road or something like that. But to me, every event to me is a world championship fight. Even the ESPN fight or something like that. I want that promoter to know that I busted my ass. That's the kind of baseball player I was, and the kind of football player I was, and this kind of fighter I was. And I was a pretty good little fighter, but it just, I want to give him my best every time out of the box. There's been a few times when maybe I felt like I didn't, but I picked myself back up right away. So, whoa, I gotta get busy. Because every event, it's so hard for these promoters to make money in this business. And it's my obligation for them to make money, to do as well as they hope to do or better. And, and if they don't make money, I feel like crap about it. I do, because it's, I don't want anybody, no deal is a good deal unless everybody's making money. And so my job is to try to make everybody money and for it to walk away, be successful, for TV to be happy. My reputation with the TV guys is ESPN, with HBO, with Showtime, everybody else. They know if you put a fight in Texas and I'm involved in it, there's going to be people in the stands and nobody's going to get embarrassed. We're going to figure out a way. We're going to figure out a way to make this event work. There's been times I tell people, look, it's a bad event for Texas. It's not going to work. I'll actually lose business out of it. But I'll do everything I can to make it successful. And you learn over the years, you learn the different things that drive people to be interested in coming to the fights. It's so every event is important to me. Just like sometimes the little ones are as much work or harder than the really big ones. And I've probably worked on many fights that did $300,000-$500,000 gates, $1 million gates. I worked on a lot of them, and it's hard to do $100,000. Just $100,000 gate in boxing is hard. I think I've worked on pretty much every gate in the last 30 years in Texas. I did over $100,000. I probably did 48 of the 50. I don't know if you, but so nobody knows how hard more than me how hard it is to sell tickets to a boxing event these days. But if we lose San Antonio, Texas, if boxing dies in San Antonio, Texas, it dies in Phoenix, it dies in LA, it dies in Chicago. Guess where else it's going to die? It's going to die in Las Vegas too. That's the thing that I keep prodding TV networks and promoters, encouraging them. You got to stay with the grassroots of boxing. That's why people buy it on cable. That's why they buy it. That's why they go to Vegas to see the fights. We have to have Las Vegas. It's a glitz and glamour for boxing and everything. But you got to also have boxing in all these cities and where the grassroots boxing fan, where you develop them. Right. They have to have live boxing events to go to. And some of these promoters, my biggest beef is that they will literally take $5,000 more from a casino that will do 500, 800 people that are giving the tickets away. They're literally giving the tickets. They don't care who shows up, how enthusiastic they are, whether it's a good show for television or a bad show for television. The crowd makes a big difference. But if they can make $5,000 more for that kind of crowd, then go somewhere like Phoenix or Chicago or San Antonio, where maybe they can have 2,000 people or 3,000 people, and they all care and they all bought the tickets. They'll do it. They'll take the $5,000, and what happens is people tune in, they turn the TV on, and they see some of these fights in these small casinos, and it's like, man, this is terrible. How boring can it be? The crowd noise and the level of enthusiasm in the building is so critical to the product you see on TV.
Some of the best fights I've ever seen were never televised, and a lot of people have never even heard of the fighter. But like in Phoenix, like Jerry puts on really good shows. Michelle Rosado with face-to-face events that packs this little warehouse place in downtown Phoenix.
Yeah.
But she throws a fight there. It's like screaming. It's like way back in the day when my grandfather used to take me to boxing in Phoenix or to wrestling and stuff. It's like that kind of crowd, real vibrant. And it's coming to a big return in Phoenix now. And it's amazing to see because for so long it was just dead.
Yeah. Boxing's
brutal.
I've been involved in, I played many sports, and baseball's my first love always. All I ever wanted to be was a baseball player. And by the way, I did play professional baseball.
Who's
I played for the El Paso Diablos. Okay, I made my professional debut at 49 years old. I caught in a game for the El Paso Diablos, which is a independent league team.
Mm-hmm.
Same league as the Grand Prairie Air Hogs, and which is about a AA level. And I actually caught 3 innings in the game, and I batted once. So if you go to baseballreference.com,
pull it up.
I had my one at bat in professional baseball. I walked, and so.
But at least you made it. You made it.
Yeah, no, I played the game. It's a regular season game. They put me on the roster. I was on the roster for 3 days. I caught the bullpen a couple of days. Then I actually played in the game. It was actually a wire story. I was the oldest player in professional baseball that year. But the best compliment was that Bernie Carbo, the manager of the other team, Pensacola Pelicans, the biggest compliment was that when they pulled me, I started the game, and they pulled me out after the 3rd inning. They said, "You're like how about a hand?" They said something about how about a hand for our rookie catcher, 49-year-old Lester Bedford, like that. And Bernie Carbo was coaching third base, and he looked over. He said to Mike Marshall, who was the manager, former Los Angeles Dodger. He said to Mike, "Wait a second, that catcher was 49 years old." He goes, "Holy shit, we had no." And nobody told the other team that the guy catching that day was going to be 49 years old. But I remember when I took my mask off for the national anthem. The umpire looked at me and he went, "So something ain't right with this picture. This dude's a little older than everybody else." And sure enough, and then I had a guy come up to the plate one time, and he looked at me. I had my mask on. He looked at me kind of funny, and I think he was thinking, I think this guy might be a little bit older, but you couldn't tell otherwise because body type and everything, and you really couldn't. And really, I mean, there's nothing when I was catching that indicated that I was like an older player or anything like that. It's just like anybody else catching. And I didn't feel any different than I did when I was 22 years old catching my last college baseball game. My legs have felt the same, and I was back to just receiving the ball, and I got the bat, and anyway, so I got that. I scratched that little itch to be a professional baseball player, and let me tell you, it was the second most exciting thing I did as an athlete, or in my sports career. The first most exciting thing is when Jesse James Lehi won the world championship. I was so happy for him. But the second thing was when I got to play, my son got to be in the dugout with me.
Oh, wow.
He was 15 at the time, and so that was a fun thing.
That's pretty cool.
So my little baseball. So I still go out catching the bullpen. These guys throw 95 miles an hour, and I just it's.
Well, I'm going to come back during baseball season. I want to catch a couple of games.
It's a good league. We have
a nice stadium too.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful stadium. We had we lost 6 players this year to major league teams that re-signed with major league teams. We had 4 players that had big league experience. We had 6 other ones that had AAA experience, and 7 had AA experience. So pretty much every guy on our roster either had major league, AA, AAA experience, and so it's a pretty high level. And that's what I was so excited about. I got in there and caught, and I blended in, and nobody knew the difference. We didn't even tell the other team; they didn't even know. But that was the most exciting thing for me was when the other team didn't know. I was like, I didn't want anybody to do anything different. I didn't want anybody to do anything different. I didn't know I was going to get in the game. I didn't even know I was getting in. Mm-hmm. I was just catching the bullpen, and Mike Marshall came in the clubhouse and said, "Hey Lester," he said, "You ready to go?" And I said, "Yeah." "What do you mean, Mike? I'm ready to go every night." I thought he meant I put in the bullpen that night. I was in El Paso on business, working on a fight there. He just asked if I could come catch in the bullpen. And anyway, so he said, "Look, my catcher needs a break bad." if you can give me just a few innings, give him a few innings off of his legs. But the team was 2 games out of first place with 10 games to go. And I was in shock. He put me in the starting lineup. And he said, I'm going to bat you 6. I want you to at least get a bat in. And he said, get my damn pitcher through the first couple innings. Getting through those innings. And so I let the game was 2-0. I didn't give up any runs. One guy tried to steal. It was a bang-bang play. I almost threw him out. And it could have gone either way. And after the start of the 4th inning, the other guy was getting ready to come up the bat, and he was itching to get back into the other catcher. And so I was only supposed to catch 1 inning. I wanted to catch him 3.
That's amazing.
But and he offered to keep me on the roster for the rest of the season because he couldn't change the roster at that point because the rosters had to be set. It was the last day he could change the roster. He said, if you want it, I'll try to. He said, if we want to clinch it or clinch it or out and in, I'll catch you the whole game if you want to stick around. Because he didn't have a backup catcher at the time. And so
that's pretty neat.
Yeah. But he said, I talked to the boys, and the boys all. He talked to the players beforehand and okayed with them for me to catch. And they were all through it. They were all excited about it. They were telling me, you go kick their ass.
So 49-year-old rookie go to kick their ass.
Yeah. So and I almost got in a couple of Air Hogs games. We got desperate for catching a couple of times, and I came real close to catching a game 2 years ago when I was 55 years old. Seriously, I came very close because we lost our backup catcher, and then our starting catcher with 3 games to go. We were out of the playoffs, and we were nothing. We didn't have a catcher, and it was either going to be me or the third base coach, who hadn't caught in several years. And I was hoping it was going to be me. But anyway, they wanted to put him in. He was like 27 years old. They put him in there. Pete put him in there because he was afraid the team we were playing was still in the playoff hunt. He was afraid the league would get pissed at him for putting him in there. He said, I know you can do it. He said, you do a better job than he will. But he said, but the league will get pissed. They find out that the other team's in a playoff hunt, and I put a 55-year-old pitcher. They'll kick my ass. But he asked me if I could do it, if I was ready, He said, if I put you in there, will you do it? I said, hell yeah. He goes, you'll be all right, right? I said, what do you mean will I be all right? I said, I'll do a better job than your backup catcher. So I still play the old man baseball.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to check that out. That's amazing. Well, Lester, I've got to catch a plane, but I'm going to definitely come out. I'd like to do this again. This interview, it's going to be like a 4-part because there's just way too much. I have a million more questions. I want to thank you for taking the time
to
meeting with us today on behalf of Second Out Boxing. And I hope we can do it again, maybe in April. I'm going to come out back out and love to meet with you. Maybe.
Yeah. The games aren't until May. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to do it this week. I get a ring, by the way. We won the league last year. We beat the St. Paul Saints, who was owned by Bill Murray.
Oh, yeah.
That was funny as hell. He was actually in St. Paul. I wasn't there, but in St. Paul, he was in the dugout, chattering, making fun of the players and everything, bitching at the umpire, but in a fun way. They said it was hilarious. The first thing he said, the umpire, he's sitting there in the dugout, and the third baseman was telling me the story. He said that our pitcher threw the first pitch of the game, and Bill Murray hollered at the umpire. He had like a little megaphone. You know what I'm talking about, Bill Murray from Caddyshack? Yeah. He hollered at, come on, call him both ways, Blue. Call him both ways.
I think that was in a magazine or something. I remember seeing something about that.
He said, call him both ways, Blue. It was the first pitch of the game. But I have a lot of fun with that league. I love seeing these guys trying to bring your way back. They're trying to climb the ladder again, get back into affiliated baseball, and just be encouraging them and pat them on the back. I'm more of a cheerleader than I'm a coach. I don't really do much coaching. I coach some of the younger guys, but I try to try to talk to them about little things here and there. But mostly I'm just hanging around. But I want to get a ring this year.
You can come out for that. Anyways, Nestor, I thank you very much.
Thank you. And so you came down to see the daughter?
Yeah, she.